All right, we're going to talk about the Missouri Compromise today. All right, Alice, where should we go to talk about it? Alice, how about I talk about it right over here, and then we'll go explore a little bit? Holy cow, look how fast she's going. Whoa, oh, whoa. All right, here, I'm just going to talk about... All right, we're going to talk about the Missouri Compromise a little bit. All right. Okay, so I'll talk about the Missouri Compromise. All right, kids, so here we go. All right. So guys, Missouri Compromise, 1820. This is during the era of good feelings. And you should be able to know now, the era of good feelings, it's not going to be perfect if you have serious issues and serious conflict like this going on. So you can already tell the era of good feelings isn't perfect. The Monroe presidency is famous for being during this era of good feelings, 1817 to 1825. Remember, after the War of 1812, the Federalist Party starts to die. In December of 1814, they were highly critical of the War of 1812. January 1815, the war is suddenly popular again. The Federalist Party is seen as not loyal, not patriotic, not good Americans. And the Federalist Party starts to die, but their ideas don't. They have this kind of like one-party rule as the Federalist Party starts to die, but it doesn't mean all of the ideas are gone. So the fact of the matter is, the era of good feelings isn't perfect. Now guys, Missouri tries to enter the Union in 1819. The problem with Missouri entering the Union in 1819 is the fact of the matter is that there had always been, or for a long time, had been a 50-50 balance in the U.S. Senate. Okay, Alice. There had been a 50-50 balance in the U.S. Senate. And, Alice, don't tackle the phone, okay? All right. And so there had been a 50-50 balance in the U.S. Senate. And let me just get a good picture here where you can hit pause on the YouTube if you need to. But there had been a long time balance in the U.S. Senate. Remember, every state gets 2 representatives. The North now is gaining control of the House because they have more people. But the fact of the matter is, in the Senate, there had been an even number of slave states, an even number of free states. Therefore, the Senate had been half slave states, half free states, and you kind of had this natural balance. Missouri entering into the Union as a slave state will disrupt it. Will disrupt this balance. So northern states block Missouri entering in, and they're blocking Missouri entering in as a slave state under the sole grounds of it'll upset this 50-50 balance. This deeply upsets many slave states. The South, as you might imagine, feels like they're being unfairly picked on. And there's even small talk. It never goes anywhere significantly, but there's even some small talk about disunion. That, hey, we need to break off the country, or the country's going to break apart, or maybe we shouldn't, but the fact of the matter is one day it will break apart on this slavery issue. And so this leads to a lot of trouble here. And the great compromiser, Henry Clay, comes up with a compromise that at least preserves the Union temporarily. I think I got a comment from somebody asking me to do like the Tariff of Abominations. I'll try to do a video on that soon. I couldn't find the comment, but I'm going to look back through to see if I thought somebody had asked me to do a Tariff of Abominations. I might try to do that soon here. But guys, so basically, Henry Clay proposes 3 things. He can't get it passed through all in one piece, but they break it up into pieces and they're able to get each one passed individually. They get Maine to break off Massachusetts. Maine had been a part of Massachusetts, but New Hampshire was in between. So it's kind of like 2 parts that were disjointed. Yeah, you can go sit over there. And so Maine naturally kind of had some instincts to break off. And so a lot of people said it just made sense. And how convenient with the fact that, you know what? we have this whole issue of trying to keep the 50-50 balance between free and slave states. So Maine enters the Union as a free state. Missouri then enters the Union as a slave state. This keeps the 50-50 balance. No states north of the 3630 line, basically the southern boundary of Missouri, and the old Louisiana Territory, from the Louisiana Purchase 1803, Thomas Jefferson's presidency, no slave states north of the 3630 line. Now remember, the country in 1820 doesn't go to the Pacific Ocean. It goes to the Louisiana Territory, basically kind of like up to like the Rocky Mountain area. So kind of...
Rocky Mountain's right here. It's rocky and it's a mountain.
Good job exhibiting your geography knowledge, Alice. As she walks on the Rocky Mountain there. All right. So guys, all three of these compose this Missouri Compromise. Maine, free state. Missouri, slave state. No slave states north of the 3630 line, except in the old Louisiana Territory. Now, this doesn't solve everything for good. This is undone by the Kansas-Nebraska Act. There's the biggest political issue in the 1820s, 1830s, 1840s, 1850s. The biggest political issue is America's moving west. As we moved west, are we going to expand slavery west with us or not? The expansion of slavery is the biggest political hot potato out there. And we're constantly arguing about it and trying to keep this 50-50 balance. When Michigan becomes a free state, it's because Arkansas had just upset the balance by becoming a slave state. So they actually hurry Michigan in. And the Toledo War, Ohio had taken Toledo from us. That's how we get the western 2/3 of the Upper Peninsula to kind of ease our concerns about Ohio stealing Toledo from us. Hey, hurry up. Just move from a territory to a slave state. Or a free state. Michigan.
Video, when I'm on my bicycle.
Maybe, but hold on, let me finish this video.
Okay.
And so I got a parent teaching now, guys. So but the fact of the matter is, so Michigan's rushed in as a free state from a territory status to balance out the slave state Arkansas coming in at the same time. But the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854 introduces popular sovereignty. And remember, the Missouri Compromise had banned slavery in a place like Kansas and Nebraska. And remember, back then, Nebraska goes all the way up to Canada. But basically, popular sovereignty undoes the Missouri Compromise. The Kansas-Nebraska Act introduces popular sovereignty, saying, in the Kansas Territory and the Nebraska Territory, the people who live there will get to choose whether or not they become a slave state or a free state. So the Missouri Compromise had prohibited slavery north of the 3630 line, places like Kansas and Nebraska. Now that's undone, potentially, with the people there getting to choose. And as you guys know, that's going to lead into things like bleeding Kansas. This is the biggest cause of the U.S. Civil War, arguing about the expansion of slavery. Because if slavery can't expand, the North already controls the House of Representatives. Well, now they're going to control the Senate. And if you control the House and the Senate, then you control the Electoral College. You control so much. You can pick the White House. If you control the White House, you pick the people in the Supreme Court. So that's why it's so important, the amount of slave states and free states that we have, because it's who controls the government in the end. And if you control government, you can attack slavery or you can preserve slavery. So that's why the expansion of slavery, yes or no, is the biggest political issue in the antebellum period. Antebellum period meaning the period right before the Civil War. Hey, guys, give me feedback. Give me comments. Check out my Google Classroom. I've never done one before. That's why it's so crappy. Give me some feedback how to make Google Classroom better. But guys, stay safe. Be smart. Have some fun. Do social distancing. But guys, it's a beautiful world. You'll live through this. It's a historic moment. You are living through a historic moment. And guys, be safe. Have fun. Participate with Black River stuff. Have a good day.